Hello guys, and welcome to another Adobe After Effects tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create reactive audio spectrum in Adobe After Effects. To begin, come over to the composition menu over here and select composition and select new composition and give your composition a name. I'm going to call this audio spectrum. I leave it at 1920 by 1080. By default, it's going to be black color and hit OK. I also have a music file over here. I'm going to drag this music file onto my composition over here. Now we need to create a new solid layer. To do that, come over here to Layer and select New and select Solid. By default, this is going to be dark gray solid color. Make sure it's the same as your composition 1920 by 1080 and hit OK. And we are going to be applying the reactive audio spectrum to this audio layer. To do that, simply come over here to Effects and scroll down and select Generate. And you can generate an audio spectrum or an audio waveform. For this, I'm going to select audio spectrum. Now, if I hit play, you will notice that it's not yet responsive. Let me mute my audio layer over here. To fix that, come over to the Effects Control tab, and under the audio layer over here, you want to select which area you want to become responsive. So I'm going to select my MP3 file over here, which is Kingdom Boys Music. And once I do that, if I hit play now, you can see that my audio spectrum is now responsive. Next, you can come over to your start point and your end point over here. So the start point signifies the starting point of your audio spectrum over here, and the end point signifies the end points of your audio spectrum over here. So if I come over here and adjust my starting point, you can see that it stretches out. And if I adjust my end point over here, you can see that it also stretches out. I'm going to hit Ctrl Z to undo both of that. On the y-axis over here, this affects the vertical dimension of your spectrum. So if I adjust this and I adjust this also, I can turn this into a vertical spectrum. I'm just going to hit Ctrl Z to undo all of that. The next thing we can do is to create a path. So right now there is no path, but we can make this audio spectrum respond along a path. So if I come over here and select this pen tool, for example, I can draw a path around here, and simply once I'm done, I'll just come over here to path, select this and select max 1. And now if I hit play, you will notice that it is responding along that path. But I'm going to undo all of that. So the start frequency over here, okay, you can also use the polar path over here if you select it to make it to respond at a point over here. I'm going to uncheck that. Now with the start frequency over here, you can determine what frequency of your song that After Effects is going to respond or react to. So I'm going to drop this down to 1. You can set the end frequency to maybe 1000 over here. The frequency bands is the number of lines over here. So because this is set to 64, we have 64 lines over here. I can go ahead and increase these frequency bands over here to somewhere around 150. And you will see that the number of lines here has increased dramatically. Now the maximum height over here is the maximum height of our frequency over here, but you want to be so careful so it doesn't go outside the screen. So I've increased my maximum height over here to 1400, but you want to make it according to the audio you're working with. I'm going to skip the audio duration and the offset over here. The thickness over here signifies how thick you want your bands to be. If I increase it to 6, you can see how thick it is, but I'm going to undo that and set it back to 3, which is default. The softness signifies how soft you want it to be. I'm going to take mine down to 0. You can also adjust the inside and the outside color. For example, if I change this to white or gray and I change this to blue, for example, you can see what we've created over here. But I'll Ctrl Z to undo that. What I prefer to do is to come over to this hue interpolation over here, and I could just adjust this over here a couple of times, and it gives me this blends of several colors that if I hit play, you see we have different blends of colors which simply looks more attractive to the eye. The dynamic hue phase over here makes the color to begin to blend. So we have green here. In another frame, we could have blue here. In another frame, we could have pink. So if I deselect this, it's going to remain with one color at a point. The color symmetry, if you leave it unchecked, it makes the color symmetrical. On the display options over here, if we leave it at digital, this is what we have. But if we come down, we can change it to analog lines to create this kind of heartbeat kind of reactive spectrum. We could also come back over here and change it to analog dots and have this also kind of cool kind of spectrum. I may just increase the thickness to 5 so that you can see it clearer. Alright guys, also with the side options, you can make it on one side. Side A makes it reveal only at the top. So I may come down here and change it to analog line so you can see it clearer, or I change it back to the digital so you can see it better. So the moment I set it as side A only, it shows only the top portion. If I make it side B only, it shows only the bottom portion. If I change it back to side A and B, it shows both the top and the bottom. I'm going to make this side A only, and you can see what we have over here. And now that we know how to create our audio spectrum, we can always go to Effects Control and add some effects to it. For example, if you want to create a circular audio spectrum, you can come over to Effects and Presets and search for this polar coordinates. I've already typed it here, that's why you can see it. And drag this polar coordinates onto your solid color layer over here. And come over to the type of conversion and change it to React to Polar. And change the interpolation over here to 100. And you can change the side option from side A to side B, or change it to side A and B to have it revealed like this, but I'm going to leave mine to show as only side B. You can come over to the starting point over here and adjust the starting points and the ending point if you want the lines to touch. And that's it guys on how to create this reactive audio spectrum in Adobe After Effects. Thank you for watching and see you in my next tutorial tomorrow.